There we go. Cool. You love the look of the new microphone. It's lush. Just trying to rearrange things. There we go. Cool. Right, now all the sound's working. Fantastic. You think I'd get used to this by now, but being only the 6th time and all that kind of thing, you never get used to it. You never feel comfortable that everything's just going to work. Technology and all that. Is everything good for the lighting wise? Yeah, we're all good there, I think. Good stuff. Fantastic. Right. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. How's everyone's weekend currently treating them? Afternoon, Rambo? Yeah, it's good to see you. I wanted to get on a little bit earlier, but I must admit, I've tried mixing some things up with my content. So the build video that's going to go out a little bit later on today. I've been sorting out some graphics, I've been sorting out some extra little things that I can do for my videos just to make them a little bit more interactive, you know, and all that kind of thing. And it's took me way longer than I thought it was ever going to take, so yeah, so we're going to do this for probably around about 2.5, maybe 3 hours, and then I can swap back over to my video stuff, but since I want to make a push over on the Twitch side of things to try and get an affiliate, I just thought, why not? Got the weekend, might as well do a nice little stream. How's everything over your way? Do I want to level anything up while I'm using the asset? Suppose I could do Ancient Knight a little bit. So how's your week been then, Rambo? How's everything been? Making sure we're all good. Yeah, we're all good. There we go. All is well, thanks for asking, good to hear you're pushing for Twitch. Yeah, I mean, there was part of me that thought, oh, I'm never really going to bother with Twitch, but I mean, I must admit that was part of me that didn't think it was actually going to stream, and I'm now enjoying it, so it makes sense for me to start doing the Twitch a little bit more often. So I've seen so many creators like just really enjoy like streaming First Descendants and everything like that. So I just want to take this opportunity just to give it a go. See what I'm missing out on here. Streams are a good way to interact with the community as well. Yeah, completely agree. I must admit, I was always a little bit anxious about like doing that side of things. You know, it's something new, it's a different kind of realm and all that kind of thing for me. And always like the safety as such of just making the videos on my own time and all that. But no, I've really enjoyed it since starting it. So I don't think I'm going to go back. I've really enjoyed it. I'm going to do more TFD stuff as well while I have the time, and I have the chance. I'm going to possibly do some stuff for Borderlands as well once that drops, because really interested in being able to, you know, play that game as well. But yeah, now that I've just got over the first one and everything like that, I've just really been enjoying it. If anything, I kind of wish I'd actually done it a little bit, started a little bit sooner, but anyway. There was a time people really hated running Purge 10s. Did manage to get a 1 minute 58 run. Ah, there we go. Yeah, managed to get another one, so... I mean, Purge 10's done in less than 2 minutes is insane. I'm happy with that. Let's catch up on it. I'll be excited to see that, as I've never played those. Ah, you've never played a Borderlands game? Yeah, it's, in terms of like a looter shooter and all that kind of thing, it's one of the better ones out there. I must admit that Tiny Tina's Wonderland kind of missed the mark, I think, a little bit. You know, it was fun when you were doing the story, but in terms of endgame and all that, it was just a little bit on the boring side. Borderlands 3's story kind of sucked, but the endgame and the gunplay and all that kind of thing got better as time went on. So, you know, the content that was in that, it sounds like we're getting that and much more in Borderlands 4, which is fantastic news. Definitely looking forward to giving that a go, especially since I've not heard really many bad words said about it so far, including like all the regular content creators that cover Borderlands. So everyone's singing its praises and everything like that, which is good to hear. Soulless Waterman, love your content, bro. Can't wait for the Lunar video. Oh, well, thank you so much for taking part in the stream. Appreciate you stopping by. Thank you so much for the kind words as well. That really does mean a lot. I hope your weekend's treating you well. Yeah, no, Alt Lunar, I'm really looking forward to. I must admit, not the biggest Lunar fan. Like, in terms of, like, a main stuff and all that kind of thing, like, I think she's good and she's strong and everything like that, but I was just never really a fan of the gameplay loop. But what we've seen so far in that new stream, in terms of that dev stream and everything like that, sounds fantastic. I think they've really kind of nailed it. I think they've heard the community in terms of we don't want to play Dance Dance Revolution too much. We want to kind of focus on the actual taking part in the gameplay. And I mean, depending on, we haven't seen everything to do with the kit though. That's the only downside. So for example, I was having a look at it yesterday, I think it was, and got so many of those elites. I think it's the buff on Remix, which is the gun-based one, and we don't actually know how long that buff is planned to last, as in like how often we're going to have to reset that up or anything. So depending on how long that's going to last is probably going to depend on the build as well, because to really maximise her own personal damage, you've got to hit 40k shields, I think it is. Because I did the math wrong slightly on my video. I've realised my mistake and someone managed to point that out to me, which is I do appreciate. I thought Thorn was a bit on the low side. But yeah, to get the max AoE damage of explosive propaganda or something like that, I think it's called, we're going to need 40,000 shields, which is insane. But I mean, it sounds like it'll be good. I guess we'll see. We'll have to see as to if Battlefield Concert is going to be a crit-based build, even though it's not got any crit buffs. And then, yeah, we'll have to see if Artist is worth building to 40k. It's going to be a lot of testing, which is kind of cool. I'm all for more testing and everything like that. It might even mean there's multiple ways to build her as well. So, which once again, all for, absolutely. So how's everyone's weekend been treating them then? Or how's the grind going for them as well? Must admit, I need to get back onto farming. My farmer's now run dry. Actually, you see that? Is it Fortress? That was the go-to for today. 2 minutes 9. Tell you what, if it is that, I can swap over to my Freyner. I can get some amorphous materials, get that farm going, get that done within a couple of minutes. Containment's fine, I think. Yeah, that should be fine. Fortress... Yeah, quarantine zone, perfect. Oh, get some under stuff as well. Let's see if anyone's doing open lobbies at the moment. I'll for sure be playing Borderlands 4 when it drops. Seems as if I've been missing out. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those... in terms of looter shooters, it's one of the best ones out there. You know, in terms of, like, it feels worthwhile. Like, it values your time in terms of, like, getting legendaries and all the wacky builds and everything like that. It does have an element of comedy to it as well, which is quite nice to be able to mess about with. Trying to think, what else... I will say it does seem like like some people are put off by the art style at times. So, because it is a bit of a different kind of art style. So as long as you don't personally mind that, because I know a few people do. So as long as you don't mind that, then you'll be fine. Nope. Go. We'll just keep doing that. Heck, actually, a nil is kind of welcome right at the end, though. Rambo, you got any other games on the horizon that you're currently looking out for as well, or anything you're currently hyped for? Damn, the one thing that can beat me. the initial boss damage. Honestly, no idea. It's limbo dry state for me with gaming right now. Fair enough then. Yeah, that's... Feels like we had like a good start to the year. And there's been a few months where it's just been kind of a little bit dry, I suppose. But then we've also got Borderlands, Battlefield, Call of Duty if you're so inclined, but I must admit I've grown a little bit tired of Call of Duty nowadays. Oh, I've just realised that someone sent me a message. I'll have to whisper them back in a sec. Every time. Do probably missions a little bit more often, I think.
Watch your feet.
I always feel guilty that I haven't actually replied back to. Just know that if that ever happens, if you ever do stumble across me in game and I just not reply to your messages, either I'm tabbed out or I've just not seen your message. It's never personal. Oh, I see. All these parts are going to end up in the blooming... Great, in the stash. That's fine. Battlefield could be fun for sure, and yes, I'm the same Call of Duty the last few years. Yeah, it's just been a downward trend. I must admit though, it's refreshing to see that Battlefield's kind of encouraged Call of Duty to pick up its game. Like... God damn it. I'm pretty sure, what was it, they've Battlefield's, Call of Duty's now come out. And said, oh, yeah, we hear you, we're going to take it back to being a more realistic shooter or something like that, or in terms of like cosmetics and everything like that. And it's like, come on man, we've been talking about this for years now, and then you just go and add Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to your game. I mean, I feel like you've been told this for a while now. But now all of a sudden, because there's competition with Battlefield 6 coming out. don't know. Hey, they're gonna do what they're gonna do, I suppose, but I just find it kind of funny that they're like, oh, we didn't need to listen before, but now we're gonna listen. Yeah. That's Call of Duty. It was gonna get hit by it at some point, I suppose. It's always personal, I joke. Ah, yeah. I mean, honestly, there's been a couple of times where I've just been caught out, and I've just been in Albion, just writing a script, you know, just to enjoy myself and just like going, oh well, at least I'm in game or in progress towards like the current challenge or whatever it is that's currently going on in like events and all that kind of thing. And I've just been lying there and I've got something across my screen, and then I tab back in like half an hour later. And I've missed, like, so many chats of people that have just come up to me, noticed I've been in the same Albion lobby as them, and they've just chatted. And it looks like I've just been an absolute douche and just gone, ah, pfft. You're not good enough to speak to me. Unlocked a bite paint. That was a separate challenge I did. Oh, okay. I'll get that soon then. Ah well. Skill issue on my part, I think. I must say I'm quite surprised that this is a 400% that gives you toxic skill power. And yet I think I'm the only Frainer that I've seen during this mission so far. It's a bit odd, but I mean, yeah. It doesn't surprise you in the slightest. I mean, you'd like to have thought, you know, if you've got to 400% at this point, you would have a grasp on, like, skill power and stuff like that, but I don't know, maybe it's just me. Go on, Jay, Oh. He's popping off. That's the buff that we all expected. What have I got going on for this week that I can talk about? So, I've got a build video that I'm going to release a little bit later on today. So, got that coming out. What am I going to work on next? Probably really consult my my own poll again, shouldn't I? I did ask people. See, Borderlands 3 Ultimate Edition is on PC Game Pass, so I'm tempted to try. Oh, that's a pretty good shout. To be fair, that will cover you for hours worth of gameplay. To be fair, because the DLC alone is fantastic. Some of the weapons that you get from it are absolutely bonkers. While I can't necessarily recommend any kind of like specific builds that I currently rock or anything like that, because I didn't get into content. Well, before, or even during Borderlands 3. Borderlands 4 will be my first time at content for the game. I did enjoy a lot of good stuff from Moxie at the time. I know there are other content creators and all that kind of thing, but I must admit I was a bit of a found one content creator, and I'm going to stick with them kind of person when it came to Borderlands. But yeah, no, I mean, if you're already paying for Game Pass, that's already a really good deal. I mean, heck, I've probably paid easily 80 to 90 quid, I imagine, to be able to have everything. And that was on... I will say that was the only bit that I really hated, is the fact that it's now on Epic Game Store. So, there's only so many games I have on Epic Game Store, and unfortunately Borderlands 3 is one of them, because they have that exclusivity deal. So they didn't bring it out on Steam until like a year later or something like that, if I remember right. Bit of a shame, but it's what it is. But yeah, no. So I will say that if you are going to do that, just promise that you're not going to pay too much attention to the story, because the story is pretty lackluster, to be honest with you. Especially compared to like 2. 2's story was fantastic, and 3's was a bit like, it's a bit cringy in all honesty. They definitely missed the bar when it came to it. But the gunplay in it, the actual going against enemies, in terms of the weapons that you get and everything like that, as long as you focus on that side of things, fantastic. So yeah, that's probably a good shout. Virgil's made it, so Sparta, hello. Thank you so much for stopping by. I know we've been chatting in Discord a little bit today. The Ultimate is still 80 quid on Steam right now, Jesus. I never understand Steam like that, because Call of Duty did the exact same thing. Hey, look at that, we've got another Freyner. Loving just got much faster. 80 quid. This game's been out, what, 5 years? Something like that? I could be wrong, but I have a feeling it's around that. It's got to be close to 5 or 6 years, surely. But in saying that, I think Steam sells like Black Ops 2 or something like that for 40 or 50 quid, so not unheard of. March 2020. Wow. Oh. That weirdly makes me feel a little bit old, to be fair. Maybe do a poll on YouTube, see what people want to see next. Yeah, I mean, I suppose I could probably buy myself a little bit of time doing that. I mean, I've got a few things that I do want to work on. I know some people have been asking for Keelan. So there is a chance that I could potentially go that kind of route. So that might be a shout. Started playing Lost Souls side. I think I've seen you mentioning that in the Discord. I haven't actually checked it out my side. Game needs so many fixes. Ow. Tell you what, while that's loading up, let's check out the Steam store. What's it called? Lost Souls side. 60 quid game. Oof. Yeah, it looks interesting. Single player only. Wow. £60 for a single player game in this day and age is kind of crazy. Especially since we've had Claire Obscura Expedition 33 this year, just proving that it doesn't actually need to be that way. It's insane how crazy pricing is on games nowadays. Maybe it was. I'm gonna take you back to the times of my youth. There was a time where games used to cost like 35 quid, and I'd go to Game Station with my dad, and he'd be like, "Oh, I'm not paying 40 quid for a game." Yeah. Not paying 40 quid for a game. As soon as they go to 40 quid, oh, way too much. Now look at it, we're actually kind of lucky if we actually get a game that releases at 40 quid. But times have changed. As well, then they have to put it on sale for a fraction of the price for a week, only once a year. They just sell it for a good price all year round. I must admit, that's the kind of reason why, if there's a game that's been out a little while, you know, and that's where sites like CD Keys and stuff like that come into thing. I know sometimes they get a bit of a bad rap because you can't guarantee where that key's come from, and if it's a review copy or whatever and all that kind of stuff, which is completely fair comment and everything. But if a game's been out a little while, as in like been 6 months or something like that, or maybe even a case of a couple of years, I'm currently looking at potentially buying Final Fantasy X remake, not remake, remaster, for Steam. I own it for PlayStation 4 downstairs. I'd like to actually own it for my PC, because it's a game I used to play a lot in my childhood. Absolutely love the game and everything like that, and I would love to be able to get it on Steam, because apparently it runs pretty decently on the Steam Deck, so that would be a nice little cozy game for me to be able to play on like holidays and stuff like that. Potentially even something for, because I've got a kid on the way in 2.5 months, I think they're expected. So that could also be something that I could play while I'm looking after them and all that kind of thing, like away from my setup. I can actually be downstairs and everything like that. So, you know, that would be a nice little game to be able to enjoy and everything like that. But if I go onto Steam, I can even let these probably do this stuff. I'll let them go a little bit ahead. I can catch up. So the Final Fantasy X 10.2 HD remaster is currently 20 quid. But you can get it for at least half that price if you go to a CD key website. Because they have so many of those keys and because it goes on sale like all year round. It's exactly what it should be like, really, you know? It's, you know, if you ever did get like a fancy to go, oh, do you know what, I really want to play Black Ops 2 or something like that, and you're like, oh, I really want to play like zombies or make custom lobbies or something like that. You ain't paying the 40, 50 quid, 60 quid on Steam to be able to just play a couple of games or anything like that. Absolutely not. But that's the way they run their sales, I guess. And they want it to be a case of almost like a case of FOMO, I suppose. Crazy to think, but yeah. I can go into my old man rant to be able to talk about gaming back in my day. It's not a pretty side of me, but I will do that if I need to. You can always bust it out at parties, even when no one's asked. 60 quid seems to be what the want for games nowadays. There's some early access games at 30 quid now. It's crazy. I'll tell you what, the one game that what did I just get a... Oh, I see. A challenge thing. Yeah, it must have been. The one game that threw me off for my standard pricing. So I always look at gaming as can I justify that I'm going to play this game for £1 every hour? And that's how I judge my spending as well in TFD, to be honest. If I can say that I've put, so for example, if I buy a £40 game, can I justify that I'm going to play that game for 40 hours? Vice versa and all that kind of thing. Now there are some exceptions to that rule, because it's never easy to be able to say, oh, you know, that's you know, I've got to stick to that. And there's some indie games and there's some like Telltale games and things like that where I'm never going to really put 40 hours into it or something like that, but I'm still going to enjoy my time that's in there. But that's what I normally try to aim for. So I was just trying to think what I was going to go with there. Oh yeah, early access games and all that kind of thing. I think the one game that's different, I will have to double check my playtime and all that kind of thing. Oh no, actually I did more than I thought. I was going to say Baldur's Gate 3 because I'm pretty confident that that released in early access and only had Act 1 and it was like 60, 70 quid or something like that. And I'd never played a Baldur's Gate before. You know, I enjoy my Dungeons and Dragons, I enjoy my RPGs and all that kind of thing, but I'd never actually played a Baldur's Gate title before. So I was very, very hesitant to be able to drop like 60. I could have sworn it was like 60. It might have been 70 for an early access title that only had Act 1. And would eventually get finished. And I was like, am I actually going to spend this much time in Baldur's Gate 3? And it turns out I've spent currently 124.5 hours in Baldur's Gate 3. So yeah, absolutely smash that. I don't need to worry about that at all. We'll say, fantastic game. I wish I'd actually played a little bit more of it, in all honesty, but I don't know. I just don't find it as fun playing it single player. I just enjoyed it really as a co-op kind of game. Oh, damn it. I've invited this kind of conversation, have I? Papa Peeps, you know, welcome to the stream and everything like that. Hope you're doing well. How's your weekend going? I play games on the ZX Spectrum. I must admit, I've never played on the ZX Spectrum, so you've got me beat there. I'm not even going to try and attempt to try and outdo that. I think the oldest console I'd possibly played was the Sega Mega Drive, if I remember right. So you can take that one. That's fine. What are we up to? Probably do getting that amorphous material up to 100, and then I can just farm those out. Definitely have me beat there as well. It's a very popular console. I've heard it thrown around so many times, but never played it myself. There have been some highlights when it comes to consoles and all that kind of thing. I will always savour the Nintendo 64. I never owned one, but I always knew people that always had one and everything like that, and they always looked after it. And I always loved the idea of going around to theirs to be able to go play it. I played GoldenEye. I managed to glitch it out the one time and broke it, which was hilarious. I'll always remember it. It was on the dam, and there's a little ledge that you're supposed to jump off, and you're supposed to parachute off the dam and everything like that, and supposed to play a cutscene and everything. And somehow I'd managed to find possibly the one pixel area that you didn't actually interact with, and I just jumped off and fell out of the dam. And it failed the mission. I had to do it all over again. Oh, it was a solid game. Pokemon Stadium, Pokemon Snap, probably even a Mario Kart, I think, as well. There was so many like weird and wacky games, and because the controller was so awkward, you didn't know how you were supposed to hold it either. It was just one of those memorable consoles because it just had that. Like, why do you have a controller that has 3 handhold points? I only have 2 hands. Why do I need a third? I just don't understand what they were thinking. But it was memorable because of it. I just don't get it. I don't get what they were thinking. But it made it unique. It made it memorable, I suppose. So. But yeah, GoldenEye, I'll always keep that memory. I loved GoldenEye, and then just jumping off that dam, and then just being gobsmacked at the fact that I've just jumped off and I've had to go and redo it all over again. And of course, you know, we didn't have online play at the time, so there was no patches. They had to send out a complete package at the time. So even if someone stumbled across that and tried to report it and everything like that, no one was going to fix it. Ugh. Those were the days. Donkey Kong, Monty Mop. Is that the original Donkey Kong where you had to go up ladders and stuff like that? You had to go up the ramps. Was that the one? Was it? It was called Donkey Kong, wasn't it? The one where you essentially played as Mario, but it wasn't Mario. But it was Mario, but it wasn't. I miss the retro gaming, to be fair. To an extent. Not fully. But, you know, playing solid games like DuckTales on the Game Boy. Lion King on the Mega Drive. You know, things like that were just ridiculously difficult. And no one knew any better, so we didn't say anything, we didn't cry about it, we just got on with it. We just went, oh, it's just the game, it's just the way it's supposed to be. Aladdin as well on the Mega Drive. Oh. That's good fun. I'll always remember the... here's one for you. Since we're on this trajectory, we're not going to talk about TFD today. We're actually just going to keep talking about old-time gaming and everything like that. So I'm happy for this topic. I love this topic. But, you know, here's one for you. Old arcade machines. And I'm going to say old, as in, like, old currently. But I also understand that someone told me that there was a Paperboy arcade machine before which had handlebars and everything like that, and I had no idea it existed. But the original Time Crisis, House of the Dead, Point Blank is one. Point Blank I loved. What else was there? Virtua Fighter? God, back when didn't have Mortal Kombat and what was the other one? Street Fighter, you know, things like that. Back when you just had £1 and you knew they'd given you something, they catered the game to be ridiculously hard just to be able to make you spend more money. Paperboy? Oh, that takes me back. Yeah, oh yes. I must admit, I was too young to fully grasp what you were supposed to do in that game, in all honesty. And also it was on someone else's console, so I never actually owned it enough to be able to understand it. But I will always remember going, oh, you're supposed to just cause as much chaos as well. Like, why am I allowed to break windows? Surely that is the aim of the game. I'm able to knock over post boxes and stuff like that. Surely that's what I'm supposed to be doing. It's just like, that's not how you're supposed to play that. You're supposed to actually be a Paperboy. Me treating Paperboy as if it's like the first GTA. Space Invaders was always great. I loved Galaga. I know it's basically the same thing, but Galaga was my introduction to that kind of type of thing. Can't wait for the wife to come home later and just go, so hey honey, how was your stream today? Oh, it was great. Got to relive the old days, just talking about things that were made back in the 90s and 2000s. So you didn't talk about the game today? Nope, not at all. We just... we just spoke about things that are 25 years ago. Yeah. What was the other thing? There was... Was it Toka Racing, I think it was called? One that wasn't quite Formula 1. It used kind of like track cars. But it wasn't Demolition Derby though. Oh, fantastic. But there was that was basically like on-track racing. and I'll always remember that because I was young and didn't really care for it, we made up our own game mode, which was on the side of the track there was signs that told you how much distance. Toka Race Driver, that sounds about right. And on the side of the track there were like yardage signs just to let you know how far until the next turn and everything like that, but we treated those as if they were points. So we're just trying to get a score as high as we could by hitting the point signs. Toka, that was it, touring cars. Yeah, didn't even play it properly. We just made our own little little separate game mode and just tried to pretend. And it was a stupid game mode because considering I was about like 10, 11, 12 maybe, something around that kind of time. It didn't really make sense because the signs literally stayed the same. And there was only ever one sign at a time, so you literally just hit all the signs, so everyone just won. It wasn't very well thought out, I don't think. The good old days. Oh. Thank you, Partra. You've given me a little bit of progress towards my season pass. Those were the days. What are those for? But yeah, what's the point in this? I'm not putting my hand through that. What's the point? That's the last page as well. Oof. Only 66 days to go for me to complete 4 more levels. What are we up to? 51. Kind of want to do something a little different, to be fair. Go on, send to Albion. The good old days. So what's your opinion on Axion now that it's been out a while? Well, just Axion planes themselves, or everything that's in there, including like Wall Crasher and everything like that? Because I do have different stances on everything there. I'll tell you what, actually, since we could be kicking up some keel and stuff, let's pick my boy up. Where is he? Keelerman. Go around with last dagger. Just the planes. I think the planes are mostly good. Why are you built like this? You're very confusing. Why are you built like this? Oh, it's because I'm waiting to put more catalysts in for Spear and Shield. Okay. Yeah, that probably makes sense. Yeah, overall, I think the planes is a good start. I don't think it's perfect by any means. You are completely right. It is a little bit on the empty side. Actually, I've just thought, can I? Well, yeah, I'll be in the Secret Service, so we'll go with that. Yeah, looks pretty good. It's a tough one, to be fair, because it is, as areas go, it's one of the better ones that we technically have. It's a little bit sparse compared to like all the extra scenery and everything like that. It's a little bit on the flat side, you know. We do have that, so there are pros and cons to it. But the missions that are inside it, in terms of the actual missions that you go out and do, by and large, I think are actually really, really good and really, really fun. I think there's a couple that I prefer over the others, but there are some really, really good missions that are inside of it. We have a very brief example of what we could face as like an unlimited wave kind of mission, which I think they could develop and actually turn that into that kind of side of things. I think if we... I think First Crater is a really fun mission and hilariously just takes part in just a crater, and you don't move anywhere really. You literally go from here to here to here to here to back up here to then back here. And you don't move that far, but it is just a really satisfying mission to be able to complete, and it's fairly quick, so if you do need to be able to get farming and if you do get the teeth on it, I think it's a fun one. I think it's fine as it is. My personal favourite, though, is this one, which is the Technical Research Institute. Being able to start here, getting a little bit of a bike thing to be able to start here, farm here, drop down, move forward, and constantly finding progression, I think is actually a really fun thing. And then once you get to this open courtyard right at the end, is also quite satisfying to be able to do. I think that's a really solid mission. I kind of wish we had a few more that were like this. I think there's another one that's, it might be this one? Or is it this one? Might be that one. There's one that takes you to like an open courtyard kind of thing. You fight a few things and then you go underground, and then you finish in like an open basement in a sense. And I like that mission as well. I can't remember which one it is. I don't think it's that one. It possibly is that one. Yeah, because I think this one's out in the open, so I think it's that one maybe. But some really good, solid missions. I think they're pretty top tier, in my personal opinion anyway. I like the difficulty spike. I think the increase to level 190 for most people is more than manageable. If not, then it's also a really good place to be able to get yourself leveled up alongside other people that are pretty much fully catalyzed and everything like that. So I do think that's a good baseline to be able to actually work from. I do like that it's like a middle ground between Purge and the standard kind of like mobbing. So I think that's nice. It introduced a nice level of difficulty. The Colossi that roam around feel a little on the small side to me. I know they're not. I know they're normal size and everything like that, but because of the scale of everything that exists, they just look really tiny and really out of place, and it just doesn't. It kind of like diminishes the fight and all that kind of thing. But I do wish that there was more than two. I'd love to be able to see 4 or 5 even pop up on these planes. Just be able to mess about with and all that kind of thing. I think that would be quite cool. So the races are a bit of a half-cooked idea, I think. I like what they were going for, but the way that it's been implemented is a bit kind of on the lazy side, in all honesty. I think there could have been better ways to instruct players how to be able to take part in them. That said, the rewards and all that kind of thing is actually pretty good. I do need to revisit some of these now that I've got the Vortex and everything, but the rewards are fantastic. I like the idea that they are encouraging people to actually take part, to be able to go get the bikes, to be able to fully build them up and all that kind of thing. So I do like that side of thing. I just feel like they could have done it in a better way, make it more visually appealing, and used a few more of the boost pads or something like that. Potentially could have been cool. So I think it's like a good like 6.5, maybe even a 7 out of 10. They've got a lot of good things going for them if they build from this idea, and I would like to see them carry it forward for another area, for another section, something like that, and be able to take this and go, right, what worked for Axiom Plains, and we're going to take all the good stuff, we're going to try a few new things, and we're going to make a new section called Zone Zero or something like that. I'd be all for that. I think that's a really cool thing. Yeah, I think they've done a good start. I agree with all that, to be honest, and yes, the Colossi seem very small to me. Yeah, it's a bit weird. It's you go into Colossi fights and they feel huge and ginormous and everything like that, and then you come to Axiom Plains and it's just like, oh, look at this little tiny walker thing kind of walking around. But Night Gamer 254, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for stopping by. What mutant cell do you recommend for Nell? Well, I suppose that depends a little bit, because I've done two forms of Nell now. Done a gun and a skill based. So what kind of build are you going for? Are you going for a skill based one? If you can let me know that, then I'll quite happily give you some mutant cell suggestions. I do think one's better than the other, but there are two that really do work wonders for her build. She's got skill. It's pretty much good to go. Would have been nice to introduce a skill power bucket, but I suppose I can't. Skill base? Yeah, absolutely. Let me swap over, because I do need to change mine. Oh no, it looks like I've already done it. So the two that you'd normally going to want to gravitate towards are going to be Death by 1,000 Cuts and Power Beyond. They both have their pros and cons, depending on what you want to be able to achieve out of your build. So Power Beyond will work across all of your skills, and it will give you a up to 15% increase to your skill power. So that's just more damage across the board for every single skill. It just does more damage. That's essentially just the too long didn't read of everything to do with it. So it does a lot of good stuff, everything like that. Alternatively, you can go for Death by 1,000 Cuts, and how this one works is because your skill 1 is a piercing projectile, I think it is, yeah, which gives you the max number of stacks, which is 6. Oh, sorry, mutant. Oh, do you know what? Jesus Christ, I'm not even paying attention. I am so sorry about that. You did actually ask for that. Sorry. God, I'd need to get more sleep. I am so sorry. So, in terms of what I currently got, in terms of I keep going to the wrong bloody screen. In terms of what I've got for just like general mobbing and going to Axion and everything like that, we've got non-attribute cohesion. So that one's going to be boosting up, obviously, your non-attribute skill power because of the amount of enemies that exist in Axion, as well as Purge and everything like that. Just extra damage across the board. So that's really good at being able to help build in some like extra like skill power buckets and all that kind of thing. The one that you kind of want to avoid, and I know a few content creators have put it out there, so I would recommend that you do steer clear for a skill build, is going to be defense neutralization, because there's going to be nothing that helps you with reducing non-attribute resistances. So it does reduce like elemental ones, so your electric, your toxic, your fire, your chill, and all that kind of thing, and it does reduce defense, but what it doesn't do is reduce non-attribute resistance, and therefore you're not actually going to get any extra damage by going defense neutralization. So I would recommend that you steer clear away from that node. But non-attribute cohesion's pretty good. I'm trying to think, if I go into library, mutant cell, what else we have, because we basically have this section right here. Final prep's not too bad either. That one's probably going to be slightly better for going into Stormhanger instead, because you'll activate your 4 constantly and just get extra skill power. There won't be anything to mob, so final prep's going to be pretty good for that. Fusion tech's not really... I mean, the tech's alright. I mean, the extra skill power there's not too bad, I suppose. You could maybe use that, but it's a tiny boost. That's not going to help you out. And then defense neutralization is not going to help you out either. So, yeah, if you are going to go for some of them, I'd probably recommend these three right here. So, non-attribute cohesion, final prep, and fusion tech. Non-attribute is going to be your... cohesion's going to be your mobbing. And then these two are probably going to be your bossing, with final prep probably getting you the faster results on Stormhanger if you do want to be able to mess about with that side of things. The one I really wanted to get going is one in that section there. Gotcha, thanks. Yeah, no, absolutely, no problems. What I wanted to be able to mess about with was an RK overheat. shield, because obviously she does a lot of crit damage, and you just have to then maintain your max shield. Bit of an odd one, bit of a difficult one. You might be able to get away with it in Stormhanger, but in terms of like Axion, you're going to struggle to be able to keep your max shield at over 50%. So it's just not really worth it as it currently stands. So, but that's one I wanted to be able to mess about with, but I just haven't really seen any kind of real results to point that that's actually the way to go. So probably steer clear of that one. M-Tabs, Songs, do you know some Arabic words? I'm following you from Saudi Arabia. I am so sorry, I do not. I mean, feel free to be able to try and teach me some. I'm more than happy to give it a go, but I will say that there is a very good chance, a very strong chance that I might just butcher what you try and tell me. So, I've got a Romanian friend at work that tried teaching me some Romanian just on Friday, actually, and after 2 hours I still couldn't get one single word down. No, she just ended up laughing at me the whole time, so I am notoriously bad at trying to get it right. So, yes, unfortunately I don't know anything, but I do appreciate you stopping by, and yeah, I do appreciate that you popped into the stream today to be able to say. I hope the weekend and the whole of last week has been treating you well. Yeah, Papa Pete agreed it is a location they could add various number of mini missions with chests to open at the world. Yeah, no, absolutely. There's definitely more they could do in Axion. There's definitely even more space that they can do in Axion, let's be honest. I mean, they're not exactly struggling for space. I mean, heck, we've got sections here, sections here, sections here. They could even do something around this main central bit. Not necessarily go in the centre, but, you know, actually around it. Because everything takes place away from it, and obviously Warcrusher spawns there, so, you know, there's so much that they could be doing. I mean, heck, that's a huge area right there. There's so much more they could do. But as a start, as a base, just to be able to test out for the first update that they've done, since they got rid of the old gen and everything like that, it's not bad. It's fine. You know, but they need to build upon it. They can't just stop on this. They need to carry that on and just go from strength to strength. So, the fact that you can get everything from Axiom Plains is also pretty nice. You can have, like, full catalyst materials drop. You can get weapon parts to be able to drop if you're lucky. You know, you've got all the bikes, you've got Nell, everything like that. They've done a really good job. It's a good place for gold and Kuiper. It's a really good place for reactors. Yeah, I think everything's pretty strong in terms of, like, you can just go to Axiom Plains, you could just farm there for the day, and you're pretty much good to go. Like, out of all the locations, you know, take away Purge, out of all these locations right here, you could go to Sigma Sector, you could farm out of stuff, but I'd only recommend there if you've purely just trying to get arcade tuning, and maybe even some of the components that come from specifically Sigma Sector, because those don't drop in Axion. But if you take Purge, Sigma Sector away, Axiom Plains, you might as well just stay there. You don't really need to go anywhere else. But that's how you know they've done a good location. And to be fair, they kind of needed to, because the grind for everything right now is just daft. Well, you have to spend essentially 6 to 7 hours a day just to be able to go, right, I need this material, I need this material, I need this material, I need this material, I need to be able to go to here, there. I need to get this XP, I need to get this kind of reactor. And then they've just got a section just in Axiom Plains that just allows you to be able to farm 80% of that. So, and it's rewarding as a challenge as well. You know, it feels pretty good. So, do I just... Sure. I know I'm not supposed to do it this way, but I'm going to. Alright, so clearly I need to get some more catalyst into Keelan. Pardon me. So what are we going to go for? I suppose... Cost doesn't matter. MP doesn't matter. Maybe we could just have some reduced incoming damage, maybe? HP. Focus rounds for the bosses at the end, maybe? Which one are you? You're fire. And go around with that, maybe? And then we can get him leveled up. Can you set target for the actual crystallization blueprint or the catalyst itself? I forgot which one. Oh, when you're in Axiom Planes? No, I don't think so. So if you go to library, enhancement material, that... Unless I'm wrong, I've never actually scrolled all the way down, to be fair. This is where they've got through it by essentially saying it doesn't officially drop from Axion. Because you'll notice that Axion's not there. So I think what they do, or how they must get around it, is because it drops everything. I wonder if they keep it as a miscellaneous then. Yeah. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. They do drop. I think I've had maybe 3 in total drop or something like that. And I got really, really kind of like fortunate with that. I just don't think there's like a dedicated drop specifically inside of here that that causes it to show up. If that was what I mean, like you can't fight. It's almost like it's a random kind of reward that just unlocks everything to do with it, if that makes sense. But yeah, you can't specifically target it in Axion. You can only target the actual amorphous materials and then just try and farm those out to be able to get those to drop. Which is a bit of a shame. But I kind of get it. You know, it keeps it as like a bonus, keeps it as a reward. Right, let's put on an XP booster. We'll just go for a couple of hour ones. We'll go to Axion. And then hopefully that Teeth mission is the best one, because I really do enjoy that one. So yeah. I mean, it would be nice, don't get me wrong, because it would save me going through farming each of the materials individually, or running through Void Vessel. But you kind of do need to run through Void Vessel as it currently stands, because you do want the food for... Oh, it is fantastic. Have I... No, it is set to public. Because you want the food for the new dog that's coming out. So I need to get myself a bit of a stockpile on that as well.
A large cluster of breach creatures has been detected in the area.
It's going to be fun for everyone to watch.
Breach creatures multiplying. There must be a colony.
This mission is great. Yeah, I absolutely love this mission, in all honesty. Also, I've never played it as Keenan before, but this is Run out of dashes. You back. come on. Oh my god, that actually counts as an enemy, so you can just keep just charging the tunnel. That's so funny. See why people are enjoying Keel.
Descended. Coldest comms traffic is increasing at the location. It looks like each of the breach troops has been deployed. Bogus special assault ship identified.
Get rid of the armor. I forgot how fun a Keelan can actually be.
Primary tactical objective confirmed. Search and destroy required.
Where are you going? I clearly have the wrong build on my, yeah, because it was electric. It should be fire. There we go. How is your Keelan so strong? I swear I need like 3 dashes to clear a group, and yes, I'm using your build. Is there a way to share your build? Yeah, absolutely. I'm on that. Tell you what, let me, let's go up here for a sec. Yeah, I can give a rundown. It's been a while since I've touched Keelan, but everything should still be pretty good here. So, Toxic Singularity. In terms of mounting, it doesn't really matter too much because he's singular, so you can get away with a lot of things. Blue Beetle will give you the benefit of being able to have Purification, which will take away debuffs as you start casting your skills. So that's probably the best stat stick, but to be honest, you can get away with a lot of things. In this case, we're using Last Dagger to be able to actually like burst down bosses and take away carapaces and all that kind of thing. So, going for singular and skill cooldown gives you the most amount of damage into your dashes. Plague with obviously 4-piece. We're gaining custom resource, so it makes the most sense. We're going to be gaining even more toxic skill power. In terms of modules, this is currently what we've got, so we do have a lot more that we can currently mess about with. Maybe that's the reason why. Maybe it's because Arcane Leak, because I've been meaning to try this one out. I've heard a couple of things out there in the community, and I've just not actually given it a go myself. But Arcane Leak could be the reason why. I probably have a better one now, to be fair. 115, 119. Maybe not. The reduction in skill cost doesn't really matter, to be honest, because it's not costing you any MP. But then saying that, it does say removes Arcane Leak if no MP to consume. I'd have to keep an eye on the actual screen just to see if Arcane Leak is the way to go forward for that. So that's not gospel just yet, but it could be the play. We go for as much into cooldown as well as going into toxic skill power. So focus on toxic, focus on singular, singular amplification, toxic amplification, pretty much bog standard. You know what, I might just even move that around so it's a little bit easier to be able to read. We go for a little bit more toxic skill power in terms of this build currently, because we're not going to go into crit with Keelan. In terms of the bossing build and everything like that, people are recommending that you go into crit if you do have a Luna. That's how people were able to get the 10-second kill with Stormhanger. So This is just purely for like solo mobbing and all that kind of thing. You don't have a Luna, you're not going to want to go into crit. It doesn't make sense to. So in this case, yeah, that's the reason why we've gone for amplification. But yeah, Venom Syncytium to be able to help us out with even more toxic skill power. Spear and Shield is going to also do the exact same thing, but for generic skill power, so that's going to open up the buckets. And then we've got cooldown, and then we've got skill range, just to really kind of like capitalize on our dashes. In terms of, I am currently leveling them up to it and everything like that, so I probably will mess about with. We're almost hitting cap there anyway, so we don't really want to go into that in terms of range. I mean, technically you could put a little bit more range with amplification control on. I'm just trying to think if there's anything that's better slot in that will also help us out. Well, that's the whole point. That's essentially the reason why I'm leveling him up right now, to be able to actually cover him once again. Oh god, why am I dying? It's because they restarted the mission.
Primary tactical objective confirmed. Search and destroy required.
Arcade, to be fair, it is triggering. You can see in the bottom right that Arcade Leak is triggering. Yeah, because it's now gone on to cooldown, so... Interesting. So that'll be why people are using it. So yeah, so in that case, Arcade Leak is going to be the play. Try and get as much skill power modifier. It doesn't matter on the skill cost. Never really going to care. But the skill power modifier increase is going to be pretty huge. So, yeah, probably stick with that. I'll probably, before I release a build and all that kind of thing, I'll probably do some actual testing on that just to be able to go into the lab and everything like that. But, yeah, that seems to be the case. Don't need extension. There's nothing that we can really extend here. Maybe some more defense, but we're already pretty high. Don't need energy collection. Does that do anything? Possibly not. I mean, you could always use that. Try him out for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I'm gonna do a little bit more testing on him just to try and get him in the right location and everything like that. It used to be a case that it was always no red mod to be able to go for in terms of being able to get the most damage out of him. But now that's actually changed because Mobile Strikers got a little bit closer to the multipliers that you have on your standard dash. So it's not as clear cut anymore. So you know, you could absolutely go into like a duration increase to Mobile Strike and then you just dash around constantly and everything like that. I've definitely messed about with it before, so we'll do that. So try module, what about skill tree? So obviously that's the modules. In terms of arcade tuning, this is what I'm currently rocking. I'm not saying necessarily this is best in slot, but this is what I'm currently rocking. It does look like defense neutralization would be a bit of a pain to be able to get to, so it's probably best just to still stick around with this for the time being. Because everything will be dead within like a second dash anyway, so you don't need defense neutralization too much, especially inside of Axion. I don't think. I think you're fine with that. And then inversion reinforcement is something we've already covered, but essentially we're just looking to keep ourselves alive with that side of things. So, I mean, there's technically an argument to be made for Arcade Circulation tactic because we haven't hit the cooldown cap just yet, so it would give us brief periods where we start to and get our dashes back as fast as possible, I guess. Maybe that. It's a small increase because I mean, heck, we're We're like 0.028, so we're like 2.8% away from cap anyway. But it will make his dashes come back at a 5.5 second instead of a 7 second, which would be nice. And this will come back every 6 seconds, so... Maybe that's one to try out. Oh, what's going on here?
Primary tactical objectives confirmed. Search and destroy required.
Should probably do a whole mission with them at some point. Yeah, I think the reactor can't really change too much because you kind of do need that cooldown, because otherwise your dashes kind of suffer. And then the singular is going to be the most amount of damage that you can get out of it as well, because, I mean, technically you could make a call for range, because we're still missing out slightly on that range cap. And then that would push you up to the cap, but I think the extra damage is probably the place to be. Plague makes the most sense. I mean, technically, a 2-piece into Hunter would be nice, but then you'd be missing out on a huge amount of skill power just to be able to do that. And that's a lot of damage to miss out on. Doesn't make sense too much to... Well, yeah, I did. I can always... I actually am keeping my cooldown just by hitting that arrow. That's quite funny.
Descendant, focus comms traffic is increasing at the location. It looks like Legion of Breach. Bogus central assumption identified. Primary tactical objective confirmed. Search and destroy required.
Hmm. It does kind of feel like he needs a bossing gun right at the end. So maybe a razor could work.
Breach creatures multiplying. There must be a colony.
Please evacuate to an area outside the fire.
Attendant, destroy this tactical equipment. Please confirm. Hardly a breach creature spotted inside the operation.
Yeah, it might actually. can't me if I don't even know where I am. I have no idea where I'm going. Right, that's 40. Okay, so Spear and Shield's probably a decent shout, because that's extra skill power at the end of the day, which means that we're doing more damage. We've got the basics in. Now the question is, what type of yellow mod do we go for? Let's go and lock that in. If we move that there, for the time being we can run a HP mod. While we decide what we're doing. I think maybe Venom Syncytium could be swapped for something a bit more damage. Maybe something like Dangerous Ambush. Maybe... Don't know. I'm gonna have to come back in a sec. Passy, how's it going? Thank you so much for stopping by. WC time, and you don't mean toilet? Well, that's funny, because it was both. I suppose I could probably fit in a Wall Crusher. I haven't done one today just so far. In fact, I haven't done one for a few days. Just not felt the need to. That one. I think that's my go-to right now. Yeah, just not seeing the fire. Yeah, that's fine. Cool. Yeah, no, the medal's pretty much unobtainable and everything like that, and I'm pretty happy with the component sets that I've got from Wall Crusher. I've just not felt the need to. Give a friendly wave.
I picked up a mutant material formation signal in the skies nearby.
How's your weekend treating you then, Passy? Question is, do I remember the rotation for the skills and everything? Ah, I should be fine. Oops. There's a fire. Oh, it's been a while. Didn't even pay attention to the damage then. Probably should have checked. Oh well. Is the time to still get one in? I can't remember. Can't remember how the lobbies work. I think you can fit like... Well, you can fit up to 3 in if I remember right. Matchmaking, yeah. Damn them hitmarker sounds. I can turn it down, to be fair, if that makes it any better. Tell you what, we'll take it down to -5. Because, yeah, it is basically spam. It's not as bad as the time that we had Malevolent going around with Nell's weak point build. Underground and everything like that. That was awful. That was hurting my ears. Does make you wonder how Battlefield artist Luna's going to perform in this fight. Being able to get all those extra buffs and everything like that, and to all the teammates within an 800-meter radius. Wow. I'm still doing a 1.1 bill. And that was with 3 Nels, 3 Serenas, and a Luna. Pretty happy with that. I assume it's not possible to go and do another one. I must admit, this is the first time I tried to do multiple in an hour, so I assume. Yeah, it's gone. That's fine. That makes sense. It allows us to be able to mess about with some other things instead, so that's fine. That's a good circulation right there. I don't know if I've already got one of that, but I'll quite happily take that. Oh yeah. It goes from 6 rocket pods to 4. Because that makes sense. Give it a chrome look. Well, that's just the same. It's just shinier, that's it. That's what was the point? White might be the way to go. Just make all of it white. The textures have gone. Actually, that's kind of cool. That's not bad. There's paint I already have. Even better. So let's go back to Keelan. Let's get him leveled up again, and we can talk other mods to be able to slot in and everything like that. It's weird because I could have sworn I already had a pretty good Keelan setup at one point. Stormtrooper launcher. I might have to name it. There's no way to rename it, is there? That would have been pretty good to name it that. Oh, I see. All my X's are on Rutals already. That's why. Tiny bit frustrating, though. Not gonna lie. Oh well. It's fine. You can have a few more catalysts popped into him. I mean, might as well do the teeth ones. Yeah. That's been pretty good. I'll do a little bit longer. And then I might carry on with my video and getting a few jobs done around the house. So...
Sending. A large cluster of breach rangers has been detected in the area. Breach ranger responsibility. Inbound.
stay at 5 dashes as characters. But I suppose that's what happens when you've got 200 to 300 enemies all around.
Longest special assault ship identified.
Resistance is on there.
Descendant, focus comm traffic is increasing at its location. It looks like Legion of Breach troops and
Yeah, well. Right, so we've got some cool things being worked on for the channel. I could probably discuss now. So I've got a bit of help coming up with some like custom emojis and stuff like that that we can use in chat. I've also got something lined up for some music, some background music, so because it does feel a little bit plain at times. So I wanted to speak with someone to be able to get some music sorted that you haven't necessarily heard before. So I've got someone working on that for me. And yeah, videos are going to get slightly different. We're changing the format slightly again.
Descendant, requesting takedown of enemy.
We're going to make it much more easier for people to understand the build, especially right at the ends and everything like that. So we'll go through and we'll cover things like full builds. I'm trying to work on like an infographic and everything like that because people in the community seem to respond quite well to other channels doing something like that. So I'm going to do something as well. Just because, well, at the end of the day, it makes sense for the people that are viewing it, right? So that will be on the very next build video. So if you do see it, if you do watch it all the way to the end, because it will be at the end, at the very end, it will be time-stamped as well. But if you do actually see the infographic, please feel free to let me know your feedback. If it works, if it doesn't work, any kind of feedback is appreciated. I've always been an advocate of constructive criticism, not just hit shit. But you know, if if you're going to be constructive about it, I'm all for it. Because at the end of the day, I do this for the viewers.
Breach follower squad approaching in encircling formation. Respond.
So yeah, so I'm all ears. Just trying something out. We also have a new graphic that's going to be at the end of the videos because the channel does have memberships on. It's nothing major or anything like that. I believe there's just the one tier at the moment, and it is literally just I think it's £2 a month. Because I'm not after like anything major. At the end of the day, this is a hobby for me. But any funds that do come and get generated from memberships, those go straight back into the channel. So it just literally helps with future videos, being able to afford games, being able to afford some other stuff to be able to help out with content, all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, so if you see that and you're over on the YouTube side of things, feel free to check that out on the join section. So yeah, so we've got a lot being worked on. It's stuff that I've been meaning to do for a while. And I must admit, I just went, oh god, it's a lot of hassle to be able to get that sorted. And I've just been putting it off. So, I finally got my act together, and I finally got around to sorting it. So... of course, it's not expected when it comes to memberships or anything like that, but it is appreciated. So I'm never going to ask people to specifically join a membership. That's why I haven't mentioned it before. Let's have a look. Key is easy to play using mouse and keyboard. The controller, that quick turn is difficult. Yeah, I've definitely heard that comment being thrown around a fair bit, and I can fully appreciate that, to be fair. yeah, the quick turns that you kind of need to be able to handle to be able to make sure that you have the unlimited dashes is, or to maximise your DPS, 100%. So yeah, I fully appreciate that's definitely the case. Which in some aspects is a shame, but in others it kind of makes sense. I don't know. It's I mean, it's not needed all the time, but it's nice to have. All sounds good. Well, I'm glad you're on board then, Rambo. It's like I said, I've been slacking in some kind of areas, and I definitely need to pull my finger out, and that's where we're up to right now. I tried adding quick turn, but I haven't found a proper button combo for that. I must admit, I'm not too familiar with how the control scheme is when you set up on your controller. It would have to be. God, you could probably. I mean, I suppose technically you could get rid of your jump, but that's a big ask to just to be able to set up Keelan, I suppose. It's not the most ideal.
Descendant, a large cluster of breach creatures has been detected in the area. Breach creatures multiplying.
Because at the end of the day, Keelan can get away without using his jump. Because if you needed to be able to get to a high place, you just look upwards and you just dash. It's definitely one of the more fun ways to be able to mod in, actually, isn't it?
Descendant, local comms traffic is increasing at your location. It looks like Legion of Breach troops. Bogus special assault ship identified. Bogus special assault ship spotted. Requesting takedown of enemy assault ship.
Why not? It's been a while. Oh, so like it. Cheat versus Interwebs. Ah, just the person actually. How's it going? Thanks so much for stopping by. How's your weekend treating? Just missed out on the technically the channel announcements for the upcoming video that's going to be going out today.
Be careful.
And it's a bit specific to you as well, technically. Oh, cashew bug thing that's broken my skills. Oops. Yep, that works.
Breach follower squad approaching in encircling formation.
how is this gameplay to watch? Just out of curiosity. Because, like, obviously, you know, I'm going really, really fast and everything like that. How does this, like, translate in terms of, like, a viewing experience on the stream? Dang it, just missed it on weekends, alright, just seeing a go for our fans, so... I'm here till local game store opens to play some Magic. Fantastic, that sounds like a good weekend for me. No, you weren't. I mean, technically, yeah, you did kind of miss it, but I'm more than happy to reiterate it, because, like I said, it specifically relates to you, so... But yeah, so the channel's going to have a little bit of a... little bit of a change. Starting with the video that's happening later on today. So later on today's video is going to be around Blair. It's one of my favourite builds for Axiom. If you see what this is doing right now, it's so much faster and easier to use than this. You don't have to use guns, it's just purely skills. Yeah, Keenan seems to weirdly struggle against the tanky enemies. But yeah, essentially, channel's going to have a little bit of a change. So we've got a few more things being in the works. So streams-wise, we've got some potential custom emotes in the mix that are going to be made. We've got some music that's going to be... I say custom made, but it's stuff that already exists, but it's from someone that, you know, they're more than happy for me to be able to actually use their stuff, so potentially going to be getting some of that kind of stuff going. The actual videos themselves are also having a change. We're going to have an infographic at the end of every single build video going forward that's going to basically try and cover everything that we've just talked about. So we've got that going for us as well. And then also, I've worked on the graphic. In fact, actually, technically, I could even show it off. Tell you what, since we're on stream, I would be more than happy to be able to actually get some feedback going for this thing. So, if we swap to desktop view, hopefully that's now displaying. So we'll just wait for that to pop up, so I can see on my side. So yeah, so this is currently like an infographic that I'm currently planning on sorting. I don't know why it's... Hold on. Why have you gone to that degree? You should be showing the full... Hold on. I think I've seen what's gone on. 1 second, I think it's randomly cut it off. And I don't know why. In fact, actually, let's put it onto desktop view so you can actually see it as I'm trying to fix it. Oh god, that is... That's not what I wanted at all. That's going to look real weird on the stream. Why are you... There we go. Right, that should fix it. I have no idea why it's just set itself to that resolution, but for whatever reason it's just decided that it's going to do that. blue. There we go. Are we all good? That looks good to my on my side now. So this is the current work in progress infographic. So I've been messing about with it a little bit in my Discord, got a little bit of like you know, some input and all that kind of thing. This is what I'm messing about with to introduce into the next build video. This is literally just covering everything that's going to be at the end of every single video. So we're going to be covering, if there's a specific weapon for us to be using, then that's going to be... the sections might move around, but I am trying to capture everything. Like I said, it's still work in progress. But main modules, inversion reinforcements, obviously watermark just in case anyone takes that screenshot and wants to send it around and all that kind of thing, at least try and get some credit. Components with all the rolls and the cores that's going to be on there. We've got the arcade tuning, we've got the weapon with the build, and then we've also got the reactor that's built into there as well. So this might not necessarily be the final project that's always going to be going forward, but yeah, so that potentially exists. Oh, I've just noticed that we've just gained another member. Thank you so much there, Rambo. That does mean a lot to me. I'm going to have to edit the next very next screenshot that I'm actually going to be putting up on the screen. So that is... So that's the infographic, like I said. Looking for feedback. So, yeah, so that's everything. And now I'm going to have to edit this one. So Rambo's now going to be featuring on the channel member screen. So we're going to have a little bit of a little infographic kind of thing. This took me hours to cut out. Well, it didn't take me hours. It took me a while, but it took me. But it, you know, the cutout did exist. So yeah. So at the end of every single video, this is something I've always wanted to be able to get done. Ever since I got like set the memberships up and all that kind of thing. This is something that's been planned for ages for me and all that kind of thing. But yeah. So the idea is that as we start growing the memberships and everything like that, slowly add all the extra names and everything like that, and TFD related. So. That's the main kind of idea. I think build separate so that way it isn't bundled with it, and you can always put the rolls and augments too. Yeah, probably a decent shout as well. Yeah, actually yeah, because the cores and the sub rolls don't exist for the weapon, do they? Gonna have to think of that one. Yeah, I'll have to think about it. I think potentially the component cores and everything like that potentially could do something. It could do some work. Yeah, because it could do with something here. Maybe I could probably cut some of this stuff, like the extra stuff that's around it, but maybe make it a little bit smaller. Put it down the bottom here, something like that.
Descendant, I've picked up a
Or maybe
material formation
squidge
signal in the
these
sky
together,
nearby.
put this watermark over here, and then I could potentially move this to here, move that to there, and then I could put the chronicles there. Like I said, completely work in progress. There was literally no rhyme or reason to any of this kind of placement, apart from Blair here, who's just constantly watching you in case you do screenshot and dip. But yeah, everything else is, like I said, just try to shove as much in there as I physically could. So yeah. I just wanted to give you more work to do. Well, I appreciate that. So, but no, that genuinely means a lot for the membership. Thank you so much. But yeah, I'll definitely get your name added to this one, and that is going in the Blair video, which I'm going to be starting work on in probably the next 10 to 15 minutes. Most of the stuff in terms of like the baseline stuff is already in place. I just need to be able to kind of edit it a little bit, but I like the idea of this one. So we've got some people that are looking down onto the to the members, and makes it kind of important and all that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm liking this. There's a lot of moving parts that's going on with this channel. So yeah, it's finally getting to a place where I'm very happy with the content, and it's finally getting to a place where I'm really happy with like all the extra stuff that's going to be going into it and everything, and that includes streams and everything like that. So there's a lot of time, there's a lot of effort, there's a lot of money being thrown into this, and I'm not happy with just sticking around at 6k subs. I'm going to be constantly pushing this. So yeah, we're not resting over on this channel. We're going to keep pushing until we can go as big and as large as we can possibly go. So So yeah, so that's the idea with that. And yeah, over time I'll build that up and I'll change it around and do new ideas and everything like that. So, but no, I'm so glad that you're here, Sheep, because I really wanted to, really wanted you to be around to be able to kind of witness that. Because yeah, obviously with the first membership, it means a lot, and yeah, really want to get you on that infographic. I feel like 2 different ones might be the way, so that not everything is bunched up and cluttered for newer players that can't tell what the thing all means. You're right. I must admit, though, I do kind of want to keep it to one sheet, and the reason why is because I've seen other channels get away with one sheet, but also people like to take screenshots of the build, and rather than taking separate screenshots of everything that's going wrong, like all different places of the build and all that kind of thing, and flicking back and forth and everything like that, I would like to make one single sheet that has everything to do with it. And I know it can be done because there are so many really good ones. I know if I bring up... He's going to love that I'm going to bring his channel up, to be fair. One second. I will get an example up on the screen and then we can... Mainly because I've been talking to him a lot about this kind of stuff, but where are you? Actually, come to think of it, you might do it on 2 as well. Interesting. Oh, he does it on several. Yeah. Oh, okay, fair enough. I take it back. I was going to say that, for example, if I swap this back to desktop view, Geordie is a person I've been speaking with for a good couple of months now, to be able to help out with like builds and stuff like that. He's a great guy and everything like that, and been, like I said, been speaking a lot with the guy, and he's been doing some really good builds recently. So I was curious as to... I could have sworn I had it in my head that he put it all on one single sheet, but no, this is essentially how he kind of shows it, and that's what's inspired me to start doing infographics. But looks like as you go through it, yeah, it does change. Obviously, that's 2 different builds, and then he goes into the weapons for the next sheet. So maybe you're right. Maybe that might be the play. I'll have to have a think about it. I know, is it Dry Bear that does? I think Dry Bear does builds with... No, that's just a weapon. We don't want the weapon one. Does Wallcrusher build have it? No, Bossing build. Yeah, it might be, to be fair. Maybe I'm just going... There we go. I think this is it. There we go. So that's an example of what I want to try and pull off. Dry Bear still does TFT stuff? Yeah, every now and then. I think he normally pops back for like the start of a season and then disappears, cover some more popular games with like higher player bases and stuff like that, because I mean it's a massive channel and everything like that, so it makes sense. Again, trial and error. No, completely agree. Yeah, it's like I said, it's a work in progress. It's just constantly changing. It's the first time I've done like in any kind of like any of my content and all that kind of thing. This includes Songs of Rage as well as from Babylon. When I was doing it before then, I've never covered like done an infographic as such. So this is completely new to me. But yeah, it's something that I would be interested in being able to actually kind of like cover here. So something that you could take away, but you know who it's from, and it can get shared around. And if it gets shared around and other people recommend it and all that kind of thing, then you get a little bit more credit towards it. You get a little bit more traffic. So things like that. So that's the idea. But yeah, I kind of want to show off a little bit And I don't like some things that feel like a little tiny bit together. Maybe that's the way to go forward for like cores and stuff like that. So there's a few things that I've got going around, and I'll think about. But I want to try something, and then from there we'll swap it over to something else and all that kind of thing. Does Moxie? Yeah, I mean, all the bigger channels kind of do. When you have it as your day job, makes the most sense. I mean, at the end of the day, when it comes to YouTube, you know, views are the name of the game and everything like that. And yeah, I mean, you're going to get so many views from doing TFD, but you know, there are so many other games and everything now that are there to be covered, and makes sense. So yeah, that's just an example anyway. So, you know, I like the idea of showing everything off. Someone can take that away. I know that Vash used to do the same as well. He did like one infographic, and you know, people could screenshot that and everything like that, take that away. But I think he had his own separate website set up for that. So, like I said, idea, currently work in progress. That's where my headspace is, and that's going to be my next step for what I want to actually do with the channel and everything to do with the build. So, so yeah, so we'll figure it out. We'll take it from there. We'll do it as a we'll do it as a group, as a channel, and all that kind of thing. I do like your graphic more than is those side by side. Yeah, I want to put like a little bit of character to it. You know, rather than just like a blank grey space. But I still want to get all that information across. So, it's fine. We can figure this out. Still, it's too early to kind of like set and go, yeah, it's definitely this and all that kind of thing. So that's fine. I can only think of Moxie for an example that does TFD. What does TFD and then does other games as well, or just? All those calls, good times. Now the real challenge is when I get to Borderlands 4 and how I'm going to do infographics for that. You can think of Moxie as an example of does TFT and then goes. Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. I think most of the bigger channels have kind of shifted away now, which has kind of opened the floodgates for some of the other channels to kind of like do well. You know, that's why Sen of AIDS is doing quite well. Elisa TFD is doing quite well with it. Ornery Biscuit has made her channel from TFD. You know, we saw a very similar story with Outriders a few years back as well. Because you noticed that after the initial hype of the game came out and everything, so like big channels like Moxie, for example, were covering Outriders. Pardon, excuse me. After the first week or two, I think it was, when we had the initial inventory bug that then just started deleting things that were in the stash, the player base just dropped. And because of that drop, all the big channels moved away because they were trying to, you know, follow the viewers, follow the player base, all that kind of stuff, which, I get it, you know, it's their day job, it makes the most sense. For the people that don't do it as an actual day job, like, for example, myself, this is just purely a hobby. I just cover the games that I enjoy, and I'm able to get away with that as my kind of like freedom. So that's the difference between, like, you know, doing it as an actual job compared to doing it as a hobby. But yeah, because all the big channels left Outriders, it allowed all the smaller content creators to actually get like a leg up in that sense. I know the Full Measure, I think he started with Outriders, or he might have started like covered a couple of games before then. But like the big kind of rise that he had was Outriders, followed by Elden Ring, I think it was. So those two games really just kind of made. I could be wrong in that, but that's my understanding of it all. Is that's how the Full Measure just kind of came to be. You had ourselves, so Babylon, we did all right and all that kind of thing. I wouldn't say we like achieved like a massive hype, but we did enough to be able to speak with like other games companies and to be able to help them out with their games and get into other creator programs and all that kind of stuff. But there was also Play-Doh Bear, who then went on to go and sort some Diablo 4 content, who then got like a news outlet covering some of the stuff that he did, because I think he did the initial Necro build that destroyed Lilith, if I remember right. He got featured in terms of like the amount of damage that it did and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, there's a it's weird. It's like a weird like ecosystem that kind of happens when people kind of like bigger channels and all that kind of thing just move away. So yeah, it's it's one of those like suppose Pikachu's face this in a day? No, it's not. This is just purely a hobby for me. I do this for fun. I do this in my spare time. I play the game. I enjoy the game that much. Then I just kind of make videos and content on it. And because I get a better understanding of it, because I'm trying to do it from a content side of things. It's weird because I enjoy the game, and therefore I enjoy making content on it. And because I'm enjoying making content on it, I get to enjoy like the comments and like speaking with communities and all that kind of thing that comes from that, and it's quite fun to be able to keep up with like game devs and all that kind of thing. I'm still trying to push that for this one yet, because I've not been recognised by Nexon just yet in that sense. Like I've got my creator code and all that kind of thing, but in terms of like the extra events and all that kind of thing that you've seen, like Biscuit, Moxie, Sen, Elisa, TF, Full Measure, all those kind of things, all the people that went to go do like the live stream and everything like that, I haven't been invited to that kind of side of things, so I am trying to push it from that side. But yeah, this is just a fun little hobby for me. This is just something I do to just to speak with other people and put some stuff out there. And I'm not going to lie, it technically funds my gaming hobby, but all the funds get put straight back into the channel. So if there's anything I need to be able to improve, like this new microphone and all that kind of thing, that comes from my hobby. So it's a nice little position to be in, to be fair. I'm quite happy with it. So yeah, whether it will be a day job at some point in the future, I don't know. That's a conversation I'll have probably in a couple of years or something like that. I'm nowhere near that just yet, but it's just comfortable for right now. It's just like a little bit of spare change here, just to be able to just have a little bit of fun and all that kind of stuff. Papa Peeps, are you in the UK? Yes, I am. So I'm obviously not going to dox myself on the internet, but let's say in the Midlands when it comes to the UK. So that's still quite a large area for you to try and find. But yeah, I am currently, well, I say currently, I've been all my life, to be fair, based in the UK. So but Sheep, no, I've been doing this for how long has this been? About 3.5 years in total. I did 2 and a bit years with the previous channel, which I was running with two other friends, and then been doing this properly since, well, technically April 2024, I think it was, for this channel. I mean, I did create it before then, but doing it properly was about April. So yeah, just picked up a fair few things along the way. It's got me to where I am now. So I'll always appreciate the team over at I think it's Team Infinite, if I remember right. Got to quickly refresh my memory on that one. Lightning Games. I'm trying to remember now. I know it was Lightning Games that did it, but who were the developers? That's really annoyed me. I need to try and remember. Team Ranger. Team Ranger and Lightning Games. So the game that kickstarted this channel was Outpost Infinity Siege, and it's quite different to TFD in a sense, but if you like looter shooter technically, but it's more like a base builder, I would recommend that you do give that game a go when it goes on sale, because it is such... Once you get to like the later stages and everything like that, once you start building up your base and everything like... So the general like idea with the build, and I'll tell you what, it'd probably be easier if I just showed. Swap that over to here. So this is the game, Outpost Infinity Siege. But it is essentially, you build up a base. You can customize it however you want. You can build it however you want. You literally have a platform. Lot of fun. It is so good in terms of like the customization that you do have in that, and you can build some insane stuff. You can deploy mechs. You can build massive cannons. You can build artillery if you want. You can run co-op with teammates and all that kind of thing. You can... Oh, it's... To be fair, the idea is fantastic, and they are working on a second one, so they are working on a sequel. But it got a little bit... I think they realised the limitations of their own engine and all that kind of thing, but it is a really fun game once you actually get into it and do it properly and all that kind of thing. And I cover guides on this. I cover guides on how to be able to build your weapons properly, how to be able to build some of your bases. You know, just talking about management and everything like that. Little like tips and tricks to be able to go into the right characters and everything like that, because they all had different like skills and everything. Your gun, you had different ways of being able to build it, but you can build it on the fly in battlefields as well if you wanted to. It had so much customization. It was a really fun game. It did get a little bit reviewed bombed, which is a bit of a shame, but quite rightly so. But if you ever see this on sale, I would recommend that you get that. It is a lot of fun. But that's if you're into like your base building and all that kind of thing. You're in Scotland, Papa Peeps? Oh, well, you're not too far away then. I must admit the wife really wants me to go to Edinburgh at some point. So, if you've got any tips and tricks as to what to do in Edinburgh and all that kind of thing, because I've never been or anything like that, feel free to be able to send them my way. I'd love to be able to actually hear that. We've got freedom and now my face is half blue. Everybody that played that game a lot just never thought about picking it up. And like I said, it's a really good. It's when you first start off, it's a little bit basic, and you know that's because you snowball as you start like building more into it and everything like that. It becomes way more viable and everything. There is a section in my own Discord, if I remember right, that I have. Show your outpost. Just casually showing off the Discord for you. Yeah, like I basically made like a section where you could, if you made outposts, this had the ability that you would share a code, and you could just import it into your game. And there were people just making these fully autonomous kind of like bases that would just... This looks complex, but trust me, it's easier than it currently looks in terms of like that once you understand it, like systems and all that kind of thing. But there were people just literally just building up to the high heavens and just making like massive artilleries and everything like that. But it was great fun. And then because you had that full customization, you could do so much with this. Like you've got people that were... There was one that was like a really popular kind of like looked like a tank and everything like that. So you got some really cool kind of like base ones. This was one that I made, if I remember right, with rail cannons, because they recently added those in. So if you just wanted rail cannons, go for it. Then I made something that, because this is daft, there is literally zero reason to do this, but I made it so it had legs. So the legs don't do anything extra for it. It just makes it more difficult for you to actually get inside of your base, but you could just put it on legs. And it was just like, why? But it would literally just have like the range and all that kind of thing. People would make just like support floors and everything like that. So yeah, so you could just download the floors and then you can customize it from there. There was so many things. That was the evolution of my base on legs, if I remember right. I made it just so it had so many cannons and it had things aiming downwards and stuff like that. It is stupid. There was, like I said, there was no reason for it, but I loved it, and I just went, this is what... I even made, right here, there is a little cockpit that you can sit in a chair just to be able to watch the action unfold. And because it has auto-loaders inside here, it had like a little conveyor system where it made ammo, and it would just restock itself, and it would just keep all of these fully stocked up. It was so daft, but it was so fun. And then these were little launch pads, so to be able to get up here, to be able to drop the objectives that you need to be able to do, I would just jump on here, and then it would just take me, like, I would angle it a little bit, but you could land on this platform there, and you can just go through the rest of the base. Like I said, the creativity was just insane. It was so good. But yeah, I'm glad they're working on the second one. Let's just say that. It's a bit. I'm curious to see more features that they're going to be bringing out for it and everything like that. So yeah, Edinburgh Festival would be a good time there. No, in that case, I might have to try and time that one. Hopefully we can figure that out with the kid on the way, but I'm sure we can sort something out. I mean, Edinburgh Festival's not going away anytime soon. Tim F, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hope your weekend's treating you well. Hail, brother. Hail back to yourself. Just use your Glade builds. Good stuff, man. I was using it all wrong. Oh, well, now you've got me curious. How were you using it before? But yeah, absolutely no problems. Yeah, I only put stuff out on the channel that I would personally run myself. So no, absolutely no problems at all. I'm glad it works for you. I think if we get Keelan leveled up a little bit more, I might call the stream there, and then I can get on with sorting out that Blair video for later today. So, because I've spent too much time with those infographics. Actually, I'm kind of curious as I know you won't be able to see it, but I'm going to ask what's CD keys outpost Infinity Siege. What can you actually pick it up for? Ah, this sold out. That's a bit annoying. Yeah, there's a few sites selling it for less than a tenner. That's probably pretty good, to be fair. I'd easily pay that. Yeah, even CJS, CD keys, which I've used before. £8 and 5p. Yeah, not bad. I'd pay that. Get plenty of hours out of that. Need some serious help with you, Sharon? Where are my boosts up to? Oh, go on then. Let's talk Sharon. Because suppression is probably the way to go inside of Axiom. So that makes the most sense. Now I need to remind myself as to how suppression actually kind of works. In terms of piercing projectile, that would mean every 2 casts would get death by 1,000 cuts, but is that the way? So you get your cooldown decrease if you do a critical hit. Maybe death by 1,000 cuts isn't bad as a slot in? I mean, that's a pretty good mod right there. We could start with that. If death by 1,000 cuts isn't doing enough for us, then we can always shift over to Power Beyond, I think. So yeah, so we go full into crit. We'll want Blue Beetle. We'll want Electric Fusion, which is that, which got a critical hit rate and critical hit damage. It's easy enough for us to get full cooldown back on that. Focus on, crit package, cooldown. Now the question. Is Dangerous Ambush what we want to run? Possibly not. Kind of want to do something there. Have you got a builds channel on your Discord? Not technically, but that's also another reason why I've started doing these infographics to be able to actually put those out there. So it'd also be a really good way of being able to cover that side. There is a section called Build Help if you're looking for some extra advice or something to be able to help you out with there. As I start making more of these infographics, I will make a separate channel covering and being able to drop those in, so that you can actually have like quick access to my builds and share those around to friends and all that kind of thing. So that's probably the best I've got so far. Yeah, feel free if you're over in there. Feel free to drop a question. Either I'll answer it or we'll get some other people to help out. And yeah, everyone will be able to chip in. It's a nice friendly atmosphere that we've got over there. Quite nice chill. So yeah, feel free to drop that question anywhere. Slayer. Yeah, absolutely, not a problem, Papa Peeps. Not a problem at all. I suppose Slayer would be the way, but we don't have a way with. That's a real shame. Power Beyond also would have been quite nice here, but because then we could have had the toe effect, and then we could have actually restored some MP. But we'll keep that as it is for now. We'll mess about with it. Now I've yet to try area suppression inside of Axion, so we'll see how this goes. I know it's had a bit of a buff for Season 3. So we'll do a couple of runs, and then we'll probably call the stream there. And then that allows me to get on with my build, and then I can start focusing on some other content, and maybe even putting a poll up to see what we're going to be covering next. I don't like this ride. I don't know why I coloured it that way, to be fair. I really hate it. We'll just save it, it's fine.
Descendant, a large cluster of breach creatures has been detected in the area. Breach creatures multiplying. There must be a colony.
I mean, cooldown could be lower just in case we miss, but
Please confirm.
that's a lot of damage. doing this? Why wouldn't they go anywhere else? Let's raise the roof. Yeah, that's. I must admit, I was struggling for a long time to try and come up with a name, especially also for an icon for it, because I didn't really want to put my channel face as the Discord logo. And at the time, that toothless meme was going around. But I really like that toothless meme as the animated shop thing. I will also have to at some point come up with an idea as to what to call members rather than just call them members.
Descendant,
So I'm open to ideas on that as well.
Legion of Greek. Locust assault ship identified.
Everything seems to be dying before. Death by 1,000 cuts seems to be dropping. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I mean, it's a cool idea, but I don't know if it's necessarily the plan. Right, let's see who dies first. Oh no, he's cut my skills off. Oh, give me my skills! I'm just stood in there, not even paying attention to the debuff, thinking, it's all right. I'll get my skill back in a sec.
Primary tactical objective confirmed. Search and destroy required.
It's just a bunch of shit. That's quite a lot of damage, actually. Wow. But I don't think that's the play for Trigger Mod. I still think it's going to be Power Beyond, surely. I mean, that's still a respectable time.
A large cluster of breach creatures has been detected in the area. Breach creatures multiply. There must be a colony.
Yeah, it feels more consistent in terms of the kills. Maybe Dangerous Ambush. I was going to say maybe it isn't the play, and we actually need something that's going to help us with MP, but. Because this is costing a lot to maintain.
Initiating stealth operation.
Oh, the enemy's gone. Claim this is my shooting build. What are you doing out here?
Ended. Destroy this tactical objective. Please confirm.
Yes. Well, it's better for these objectives anyway. does need something to do with anything. I think he could easily just... I'll have to see the damage on the end boss, because the cloak damage will trigger Dangerous Ambush, which will give us some nice skill power buffs, but if the damage isn't much, like too much different or it's unreliable, it makes sense to go for a deflector instead of Dangerous Ambush, I think.
Descendant, boldest comms traffic is increasing at your looks like each of the three
Actually, that's kind of unfair to...
identified.
Oh, okay. Well, it's pretty good at taking that there. That's some good damage.
Primary tactical objective confirmed. Search and destroy required.
Ooh, almost the one.
Descendant, I picked up a piece of material formation signature in the side of your body.
Just do that, just get that done. I don't know what to replace then. I feel like it could get the one shot on that phase. But Slayer is where it needs to be right now. Crit hit rate is basically 100%, so we don't want to get rid of Blue Beetle. We don't want to change skill crit rate. I might change the build though, because I do want to shoot it. The alternative is to take off the HP, put that there, and then go for a skill cost instead. If I do that instead, what does that put that to? It's actually quite a substantial increase of range, but the range doesn't really matter too much. Probably could get more realistic or more damage by going this route to go for base skill power. Hmm. I mean, we could try this. Sure. Let's try with another setting. Oh god.
Breach creatures multiplying. There must be a colony.
Activating stealth.
The range is kind of helping the consistency. Gives me a tad squishy though, as it happens. 5.7 HP.
Attendant, destroy this tactical objective. Please confirm.
Probably not the most ideal.
Colony of breach creatures spotted inside the operation zone.
Flash guns, just how much this farm's acting right now.
Activating
Always do your part.
Descendant, Volgus Com's traffic is increasing at your location. It looks like it's the breach troop.
Oh, I'm kind of curious.
Volgus special assault ship identified.
There's loads to the steel fencer.
Primary tactical objective confirmed. Search and destroy required.
That's a one shot. What have I done to be able to change that though? I haven't done anything. Well, I think I've figured out what my next build is. That I'm going to bring to the channel. Sad songs. You've already covered Sharon too many times on the channel. Yeah, I know, but still. Oh, it's not very often you get to hear a thank you. It's actually quite refreshing. Right, I guess I might just save that for another time. But right now, I do need to get on with my Blair video, and yeah, otherwise that's not coming out this evening. So we've been streaming for just past the 3-hour mark, so yeah, I'm happy to leave it there. So sorry, excuse me, but yeah, thank you all so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate that, and it's been great having you all here. So yeah, so you've got a Blair video to look forward to today, all being well. Everything's already pretty much all sorted and ready to go. I just need to piece it all together. During the week, let's be honest, there's probably going to be this Sharon build, because I don't see why not. It makes sense to do a suppression stuff. Thank you so much, Rambo, for becoming a member towards the channel. I really do appreciate that, so thank you so much for sorting that during the stream. And yeah, if you ever need me, feel free to swing by the Discord. Feel free to be able to catch me over there. And if you've got any build questions during the times where I'm not streaming and all that kind of thing, or if you just want to ask some general questions or anything really, I'm open book. Feel free to catch me over on Discord, and yeah, we'll definitely catch up there. So in the meantime, thank you all so much for stopping by. Enjoy the rest of your weekends, and as I always say, keep yourself safe, keep yourself well. I'll see you all on the next video. Cheers.